Most people think it takes 21 days to build a new habit. They are dead wrong. In fact, researchers have found it actually takes an average of 66 days. But here is the real problem. Focusing on the days is the exact reason you keep failing. You set a goal, you white-knuckle through it for a week, maybe two, and then you quit. Sound familiar? Today we are breaking down the 10 core lessons from Atomic Habits by James Clear. These are the exact principles that will completely rewire how your brain approaches change. And by the end of this video, you will never think about habits the same way again. I'm the scholar, and this is how you actually change your life. Let's get into it. Lesson 1. Forget about goals. Focus on your systems instead. Here is something nobody tells you. Winners and losers have the exact same goals. Every Olympic athlete wants a gold medal. Every startup founder wants a billion-dollar company. The goal is identical. The system is what separates them. Think of it like this. A goal is the destination on your GPS. A system is the actual car, the engine, the fuel, and the road you take to get there. If you only set the destination but never build the car, you are not going anywhere. James Clear argues that goals are useful for setting direction, but systems are what actually produce results. So stop obsessing over where you want to be. Start obsessing over the daily process that will take you there. Lesson 2. The 1% rule. You do not need to change everything overnight. That is a myth sold to you by motivational speakers. Real change is boring. Real change is tiny. If you get just 1% better every single day for an entire year, you end up 37 times better by the end. Let that sink in. 37 times. It is literally the compound interest of self-improvement. But it works in reverse, too. If you get 1% worse every day, you decline almost down to zero. This is why small, bad habits are so dangerous. You do not notice the damage because it is invisible on any given day. But over months and years, the compound effect is devastating. The lesson? Tiny improvements are not tiny. They are everything. Lesson 3. Your habits shape your identity. This one is the real game changer. Most people try to change their habits by focusing on the outcome. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to write a book. I want to run a marathon. James Clear flips this completely upside down. He says true behavior change is identity change. Do not say I am trying to quit smoking. Say I am not a smoker. Do not say I am trying to read more. Say I am a reader. When you shift from outcome-based habits to identity-based habits, everything becomes easier. Because now you are not fighting against yourself. You are simply acting in alignment with who you believe you are. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Cast enough votes, and the election is won. Who do you want to be? Lesson 4. Make it obvious. This is the first of the 4 laws of behavior change, and it is deceptively simple. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes your behavior every single day. Want to play more guitar? Do not hide it in the closet. Put it right in the middle of your living room. Want to drink more water? Fill a bottle and place it directly on your desk before you sit down. Want to eat healthier? Put the fruit bowl on the kitchen counter and hide the junk food behind the cereal boxes. You think your motivation drives your actions, but in reality, it is your environment that pulls the trigger. The most disciplined people in the world are not born with more willpower. They just design their environment so they do not need it. Lesson 5. Make it attractive. The second law of behavior change. Your brain does not crave the habit itself. It craves the dopamine hit that comes with it. So if you want to build a good habit, you have to make it irresistible. One powerful technique is called temptation bundling. Pair something you need to do with something you love to do. Only watch your favorite Netflix show while you are on the treadmill. Only listen to your favorite podcast while doing the dishes. Only eat at your favorite restaurant after a productive work session. What you are doing is linking the reward to the routine. Your brain starts associating the hard thing with the fun thing, and suddenly the hard thing does not feel so hard anymore. Bundle your temptations. Lesson 6. Make it easy. The third law. Human beings are lazy by evolutionary design. And that is not an insult. It is a feature. Your brain is wired to conserve energy. You will always take the path of least resistance. So instead of fighting your nature, use it. Reduce the friction for good habits. Want to go to the gym in the morning? Pack your gym bag and set it by the door the night before. Want to journal every day? Leave the notebook open on your pillow and increase the friction for bad habits. Want to stop scrolling social media? Delete the apps from your phone. Make yourself log in through the browser every single time. Want to stop eating junk food? Do not keep it in the house. If you have to drive 20 minutes to buy chips, you probably will not bother. The key insight is this: you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Friction is everything. Lesson 7. The 2-minute rule. This one is brilliant in its simplicity. When starting a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Read before bed? Just read 1 page. Do 30 minutes of yoga? Just take out the yoga mat. Run 3 miles? Just put on your running shoes and step outside. The idea is that a habit must be established before it can be improved. If you try to start with the perfect version of the habit, you will never start at all. The 2-minute version gets you through the door. And once you are through the door, momentum takes over. You came to read 1 page, but you ended up reading an entire chapter. You put on your shoes to step outside, but you ended up running 2 miles. The hardest part of any habit is just showing up. Make showing up stupidly easy, and the rest handles itself. Lesson 8. Make it satisfying. The 4th and final law.
What is immediately rewarded is repeated.
What is immediately punished is avoided. This is ancient brain wiring that you cannot override with willpower alone. So give yourself an immediate reward after completing a good habit. One of the best methods is habit tracking. Get a wall calendar. Every day you complete your habit, draw a big red X through that day. After a few days, you have a chain.
Your only job now is to not break the chain.
There is something deeply satisfying about seeing that visual streak grow longer and longer.
It turns an invisible process into something tangible and real.
And that tiny hit of satisfaction is enough to keep you coming back. Lesson 9. Never miss twice. Nobody is perfect. You are going to slip up. That is inevitable. The difference between someone who builds lasting habits and someone who does not is what happens after the slip. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a brand new bad habit. If you eat a terrible meal, make the very next one healthy. If you skip the gym today, go tomorrow no matter what.
If you forgot to journal this morning, write 1 sentence tonight.
The rule is not about being perfect. The rule is about recovery speed. Fall down once, get back up immediately. That is how you protect your new identity. Never miss twice. Lesson 10. The plateau of latent potential. This is the most important lesson in the entire book. And it is the reason most people give up right before the breakthrough. Imagine you are pushing a giant ice cube across a frozen lake. You push and push and push. Nothing happens. The ice cube barely moves. Then suddenly, at a critical temperature, it starts to melt. Everything changes in an instant. Habits work exactly the same way.
Your effort is never wasted, but it is not always visible.
There is a period James Clear calls the valley of disappointment.
It is the gap between what you expect to happen and what actually happens in the early stages.
Most people quit in this valley because they feel like nothing is working. But your work is not gone. It is being stored. It is building up like pressure behind a dam. And one day, that dam breaks. The results come flooding in. All those tiny 1% improvements suddenly become visible. And everyone around you calls it an overnight success. But you know the truth. It was months of invisible compounding work. So here is the takeaway. Stop setting massive, unrealistic goals that stress you out. Design your environment so good habits are obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Change your identity first and let your habits follow. Show up every single day, even if it is just for 2 minutes. And never, ever quit in the valley of disappointment. Because the breakthrough is closer than you think. The math of compounding guarantees it. If this video rewired something in your brain, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to get 1% better every video.
And drop a comment telling me which lesson hit you the hardest.
I will see you in the next